We're having you here with us this afternoon because we want to find out about the American missiles that are actually deployed in Cagayan at this very moment. This seems to be an underreported.
The Typhon missile, the first time they deployed it, yeah.
Yeah, this seems to be a very underreported incident or development that we are hosting. Pinag-uusapan lang to dati, di ba, debate, that America was planning to deploy medium-range missiles. It was never mentioned that Philippines would be among those places that they will be deployed. Pero right now, yun pala, they've been deployed here.
Yeah. So let me explain this. So this is the type of what you call intermediate range ballistic missile. So it's between what we consider intercontinental ballistic missile, which is for strategic, and of course below that you have the short range. So this is in the middle. So in 1988, based on the INF Treaty Intermediate Range Ballistic Missiles Agreement between the Soviet Union and the United States dismantled all its intermediate range ballistic missiles. The first thing. So, but then later, of course, they realized that China has developed a lot of short-range, intermediate-range ballistic missiles that are part of China's anti-access area denial strategy in the South China Sea, in the Taiwan Strait, and in the waters of the First Island chain. So the U.S. military, specifically the U.S. Army, found the need to develop and, of course, deploy a new generation of intermediate-range ballistic missiles. And, of course, for the first time, they have deployed it, but I don't think this will be deployed on a permanent basis.
Okay.
Because these are mobile. What they actually deployed are mobile lancers. So I don't think they'll be deployed here or installed here. It's really more of, I guess, messaging and symbolism, assuring us that we will have at least capacity to reinforce what we call the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept, and also, of course, a signal to countries or a country that's planning on expanding and committing acts of aggression and coercion against the Philippines and possibly against Japan and even Taiwan.
So, Professor, itong mga missiles na ito na long range na, no, hindi lang sila short range, ay makakaabot sa mainland China at saka sa Taiwan. So hindi lang to pang
Island, it could reach as far as Hainan Island.
Oh, hindi lang siya pang West Philippine Sea. Pwede ito sa mga long range.
Hindi lang sa West Philippines hanggang na Hainan Island.
Yeah.
Or even southern China.
Okay. Prof,
Professor,
Prof, you mean, ano?
Professor, that's...
Sige, go ahead.
Professor, pang offensive and defensive yan, meaning it can intercept as well.
No. It's an intermediate range ballistic missile. It's not an anti-ballistic missile system. You're talking about the Patriot.
Yes.
Patriot
So,
missile.
offensive talaga siya.
Okay, Professor, I recall that when the new EDCA sites were...
could be used defensive or offensive, depending on the situation.
Okay, Professor, I recall that when the new EDCA sites were announced by the Marcos administration, the President Marcos said that he won't allow offensive weapons to be deployed on these EDCA sites. So, is this a walking back on that pronouncement?
Well, I mentioned earlier, they're mobile. I don't think they'll be deployed in those EDCA sites.
Pero Prof,
After the military exercise, they will be brought back to the United States.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Prof, they're here for Salaknib only, or are they going to stay as well for Balikatan
Yeah.
and beyond?
Yes, only for yes.
Only for Salaknib. They're not going to stay for Balikatan, which begins next week.
I don't think so.
Okay, another things, Professor, these are is it Typhoon or Typhon?
Typhon.
Typhon. Okay,
Typhoon.
these are
Typhoon,
missile
yeah.
launchers, right?
Standard 6.
That's what we understand. These are ground missile launchers that were parang nilagay sa mga truck.
It's mobile.
It's mobile.
It has, I think there's four. You have four launchers there. based on what I've read, that of course it's mobile, it has escort. Actually, it could fire 2 types of missiles.
Cruise missiles.
The Tomahawk and
Tomahawk cruise missile, SM-6.
Okay, do we know, Professor De Castro, if these Typhon missile launchers that are here right now also have the cruise missiles or the SM-6 missiles?
It could fire cruise missile. It could fire Tomahawk.
It can fire, but when they were deployed here, were they deployed already with the cruise missiles?
I don't know. I'm not privy to the operational details. I just read a couple of articles that came out.
Prof, you were saying a while ago that they're not likely to be stationed here precisely because
I don't think so, yes.
because they're mobile launchers to begin with. But isn't it
Yeah.
possible for them to station them here anyway, even though they're mobile launchers?
Iparada, kumbaga.
Oo.
Nakaparada lang, Prof.
Well, it will depend on the agreement. Yeah, they cannot just deploy it. They have to ask our permission.
Especially for the EDCA sites, I suppose.
I don't think they'll be deployed at the EDCA sites. The EDCA sites are mostly air bases and, of course, support facility. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's true, sir. Yes, sir. Sir.
So the advantage of these mobile missile launchers is it's hard to track them down. That's what I understand in my limited knowledge of weapon systems. No? But you said is it possible that they'll be left behind, these missile launchers? They'll be left behind
I don't
here in the
know.
Philippines?
I guess. Again, this is a decision that will be made by the Mutual Defense Board.
Okay.
Sir.
Professor,
So they're here para lang for training? Ano ba, demonstration purposes or
Yeah,
are
it's
they
also
training?
for
Dahil
messaging.
wala naman ng Pilipinas ng ganyan eh. So they will be training our forces? Wala naman tayong ganyan?
Ami, excuse me, Ami, let me remind you, we have
Yes.
BrahMos.
Oh, yes.
missile. I think we have 4
So for,
launchers.
yes. So for interoperability training yan.
Yeah, of
Ganun
course.
ba yan?
Again, when people would ask, Americans are bringing in missiles. My goodness, we just bought a missile system
Okay.
from India.
Okay.
yes, Brahmo.
So,
Okay.
Prof, sabi
Yeah.
kasi ng Armed Forces ay dineploy itong Typhon missile sa Northern Luzon. Pero wala silang binanggit na specific place. Alam niyo ba kung saan sa Northern
Yeah,
Luzon nilagay yan?
Yes, sabi, dun nila, Again, it could be mobile. It could be moved from Northern Luzon, even as far as Metro Manila. Of course, ang question yan, can it be handled by our highway?
Okay, that's important.
Siguro pwede sa bukid.
Mga highways natin.
Prof,
Anyway,
Prof, in the event that they are deployed here,
Department of Public Works and Highway.
yes, Prof. Prof, in the event that they are to be deployed here, just in the event, I suppose that would require an entirely separate agreement because it is not part of EDCA.
No. No, it's part of the Mutual Defense Treaty. The mother treaty there is the Mutual Defense Treaty.
Yes, sir. But the deployment of a U.S. missile system in the Philippines would that be part of the MDT?
Yes, everything. Once decided by the Mutual Defense Board.
Yes, kasama yan.
Okay. Professor De Castro, how do you think China would respond to this action, to this deployment?
Sabi nga ng AFP, lagi na lang pumunta lang si Secretary Geopolitical sa Batanes and announce we will increase our reservists. You see how the Chinese reacted. Increase
Professor,
lang natin yung number of reservists sa Mabulis Island. China is trying to impose a veto on our defense decision.
Okay.
So we really allow China and even care to what China would say and think?
Okay. Professor, I understand for the first time this year's Balikatan, it will be conducted. There will be drills on the outer or inner edges of our EEZ, of our exclusive economic zone. But this EEZ, as we all know, Professor, is being claimed by China as territorial waters, their territorial waters. How do you think China would respond to these drills? this year's Balikatan?
Again, China would react. China would react. They see, of course, the Philippines challenging China's expansive claim. And, of course, this is, in a way, an implementation of our comprehensive archipelagic defense concept. That our goal is, of course, to project our comprehensive capabilities into our exclusive economic zone.
Professor,
Merong statement ngayon ng actually from Beijing. The Chinese government asked the US to respect China's territorial and maritime territorial sovereign rights in the South China Sea. So yun, iniintay pa namin ang reaction ng US. But
Well, our
kayo,
reaction is this.
Professor,
Okay.
Our reaction is this. The Philippines and the United States acknowledge the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling, which basically declares that Chinese maritime entitlement beyond China's exclusive economic zone or based on the Chinese 9-dash line is considered it's not considered legal.
Okay.
Professor, sabi po ni President Bongbong Marcos a week ago na kung may isang sundalo tayong mamatay, ay i-invoke niya yung Mutual Defense Treaty. Anong ibig sabihin ng pag-invoke ng Mutual Defense Treaty? Ano yung proseso na mangyayari pag in-invoke? Hindi naman kaagad yung gera, di ba? So anong ibig sabihin yan? Magde-deploy ng mga battleships, magkakaroon lang ba ng press conference, ng statement? Anong ibig sabihin actually, in actuality, kung i-invoke halimbawa in the near future ang Mutual Defense Treaty? How will it unfold?
Unang-una, this is a misconception. Invoking the Mutual Defense Treaty. Actually, the Mutual Defense Treaty is always in operation. Number one, of course, when you talk about Article 1 to 2, both allies would strengthen their collective capabilities. This is being implemented by Balikatan exercise and other military exercises conducted by the Philippines and the United States. Article 3 provides for consultation, and which has been doing it. That's why we have the Mutual Defense Board. What we basically say when we invoke the Mutual Defense Treaty, we refer to Article 4, which provides that any attack on Philippine public ship, a public vessel, air or sea, will, of course, that has been expanded. Armed Forces of the Philippines, Coast Guard, will be considered an attack on the United States. And both sides would start consultative process. So again, it will depend on the consultation by the two allies. You won't have, of course, the U.S. President asking the United States Congress to declare war. I don't think that will happen. Both sides would consult each other. Both sides would have to come out with a consensus or agreement on how they would react to the situation where, of course, a Philippine vessel, air or sea, had been attacked, and of course, the United States had considered it also as an attack on the United States.
Professor, hindi ba kailangan iklaro kung ano yung armed attack? Hindi ba pwedeng armed attack yung water cannon if it destroys our ships?
Or killed someone?
No,
paano kung pag nasira yung barko may namatay, paano yun? Is that an armed attack? Kailangan ba ng red definition ng armed attack?
Okay, I will just give context to President Marcos' statement. This is based on the statement by Indo-PACOM Commander John Aquilino during a U.S. Senate Armed Forces hearing. When he said this is the position of Indo-PACOM, this is the position, of course, of the Defense Department and probably, of course, upon the advice of the State Department. If there is a Filipino serviceman killed, this would lead to invocation of the Mutual Defense Treaty. So it's very clear. If a Filipino serviceman got killed because he drowned or because of the impact of the high pressure water that has been used against that Coast Guard vessel, what a Filipino serviceman is killed, that, of course, would lead invocation of the Article 4 of the Mutual Defense Treaty.
Okay, so Professor De Castro, hindi na kailangan yung meron quote-unquote armed attack.
Yes. Yun na. It's the United States, actually. Admiral Alaquilino
Okay.
who announced it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for joining the Storycon International Affairs Analyst Renato De Castro. Prof, salamat sa iyong oras.
Salamat, Prof.